My name is Caleb from SMS Leopard. In this video, we are going to talk about sending messages in bulk to WhatsApp users. To get started, visit smsleopard.com and click on Sign In to access the dashboard. If you already have an account and you are signed in, you will be brought directly to this dashboard that you're seeing. If not, you'll see a sign-in form where you can enter your credentials, or if you don't have an account, you'll find a link to create one within the sign-in page. Once you've done that, you'll now see the dashboard. From the dashboard, there are different parts to it. To the left, it lists different products and features and also settings which you can use within your dashboard. By default, you'll be on the SMS product. Below it will be WhatsApp, which you can click on that so that you can see how that works. From the WhatsApp section, you'll see links at the top. The first one is Send WhatsApp, which is the one we are currently on, where you can begin sending out the messages. The other links, we have Outbox, where you can see previously sent messages and the statistics about the messages. Then you'll see Inbox, which gives you a guide of how to receive replies from the WhatsApp users who who um, who you send the messages to. Then you have a way of setting up your own number, because by default you'll be using the number provided by the platform, which is the one shown here. This number will allow you to send the messages which have been listed here. But if you want to add messages which are custom to your brand, then you'll need to set up your message. You'll need to set up your number. And by doing that, you will be able to add different messages or custom messages for your brand. Below these menus here, you will see a stepper which shows the steps which you will take for you to send the message. So we are in the first step, which is selecting a template. Then the other step will be adding recipients. Then the final one will be reviewing the messages that you want to send before they are sent out. So let's start from the first step, which is selecting a template. So for you to send out a WhatsApp message, you will need a message template which has already been created beforehand. So the reason it is being created beforehand is for the purpose of review by Meta. So Meta requires that every message you send is within their requirements and their policies. So that's why they need to review. So for context, Meta owns WhatsApp, so they control the messages which can be sent to WhatsApp in bulk. That's why there's that process of review. So the process of review usually takes a couple of minutes. It's not a very lengthy process, but for new accounts, it can take longer than that. So be sure to plan in advance if you want to begin sending out the messages as soon as possible. So your message can be approved, or also it can be pending, meaning it's still under the process of review. And also it can be rejected for one reason or another. So the reason will be specified and you can adjust your message so that you can send it for review again. So once it has been reviewed and approved, that's the moment you'll be able to send out the messages. Your message will also be categorized by Meta into either utility, marketing, or one other, which is known as authentication. So this categorization is based on the content of your message. So if your message touches on things like announcements or promotion of products, those will be under marketing. If it touches on something like delivery notes, for maybe you're sending you are selling a product or something about billing, those will fall under utility. The reason for this categorization as done by Meta is for billing. So Meta have different prices for the different categories of messages that you intend to send. So once you've created your templates and you're ready to send out the messages, you'll now find your templates listed here, the ones that have been created and the different statuses. So the ones that you can send are the ones which have the approved status. So in my case here, all my messages have been approved, so I should be just ready to send out any message. Let's talk about the content of the messages. So WhatsApp allows you to send messages with videos, images, documents, and even external links. You can add external links like this one, or you can add buttons which when clicked, a phone number that you specify will be called by the WhatsApp users that you target. So there's all that flexibility. And also you have an option of leaving out fields for variables. For example, here, these fields inside these curly braces will carry custom messages for the different contacts that I'm sending to. For example, here it will have the name, the amount, and the date. So we're going to see how to include those variables at the time of sending the messages. So once you're ready to send out the messages, you just click on a message to send it. For example, I can click on this one with a video. Then I'll proceed to the next step, which is adding recipients and variables. So from this step, the first thing we can see here is that the template that we chose requires a video. So we will click on that area to select a video we want to send. Then the video will be added in there. Then to the right here, you have options of adding recipients. So there are different ways of doing that. The first one here is selecting from your contact list. So these contacts comes from the contacts which are managed within the platform here. So if you've already uploaded some of your contacts in the past, they will always be accessible from this point. So if you want to add any contacts, you can do that in the contacts section. So you can have that to pick all the contacts, or you can select this one to pick some of the contacts. For example, you can just type in the name of a contact and you can just select the one you want to send to. From this point also, you'll be able to add a contact who is not in your contact list. So you can just add a number for instance, like that, and then you select the number you want to send to. So you can do that as well. Then once you have your contacts in place, you can click on next to review the messages and to send the messages. But before we do that, there is also an option of uploading a file, which is especially handy when it comes to templates which have variables. So how this works, you'll upload a file which is in this format. The first field being the phone number field of the recipients you want to send to. Then the rest of the fields belongs to the different variables you have. So I'll just click on back so that I select another message template which has variables so that we see how that works. So at the top here we have this one which has 3 variables. So I'll select that one and go back to the screen. So ensure that you are in the upload file section so that we can add in the variables. So as you can see here, our selected template has these 3 variables, meaning the file we upload will need to have the phone number field as the first one, then the other 3 variables, which is 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just going to show you a sample file which I have. So this is my file here, which I'm going to use. So I'm just going to click on choose file, then I'll pick that file that I've shown you. So the file will be uploaded and you'll see a success message at the top. So meaning you can now proceed to the next step. So the next step here is reviewing the messages. So you can just highlight to see the different messages that have been created. So at this step, you can just ensure that the variables have been added in correctly. And you can also check if the numbers are correct. And at this point, you can also remove some of the recipients. Maybe you've decided to remove some you don't want to send to. So you have that option of deleting. You can just like delete like this, for instance, and then you'll remain with the contacts you want to send to. So you can do all manner of review at these last steps just to ensure that everything is in place. Once you're satisfied, you just need to click on confirm. Then you'll get this final dialog, which shows the number of recipients, the WhatsApp number you're sending from, and the total cost for sending out the messages. So once you hit on confirm, the messages will be sent out. So as the messages are being sent out, you'll be now brought to the Outbox section, which shows the latest message that you've just sent. And clicking on it, it will show the different summaries for the message. As you can see here, the two messages are pending. WhatsApp delivers the messages inside a minute. So it usually takes something like 30 seconds for them to be delivered. So you can just monitor that for each and every contact. At the top, you'll see a general summary. Then at the bottom here, you'll see a breakdown of each and every contact that you're sending the messages to. Back to Outbox, you can see all the messages that have been sent in the past. So that's the process of sending out the bulk messages. So before I conclude, I'll talk a little bit about setting up your own phone number. So when we click on that, we will now see this page where it requires you to provide different details that you need to set up your phone number. And like I mentioned, the advantage of setting up your own phone number, it will allow you to send more messages which are custom to your company or your brand. And it also allow you to set it in such a way that your display name or your company name will be shown to the people who receive your messages. So for you to set up your number, the first thing you'll require is the phone number that you wish to use. And there's a requirement by Meta that that phone number should be dedicated, meaning that it should not be currently in use with our WhatsApp Messenger application or our WhatsApp business application. So once you have that number in place, the next thing we'll do is set up a Meta account for you. Then we'll configure the Meta account with our WhatsApp service. So once that one has been done, we'll now be able to get every configuration detail below here. The first one, the WhatsApp phone number that you wish to use, is the one that you chose. Then these other three fields will come from your Meta account. So once we provide that and submit the configuration, you'll be now brought to this point with your own phone number, which you can now use to send out the messages. So that's the full process of how to use this feature from SMS Leopard. So let's go back to the message we sent so that we look how it looks like. So this is how it looks like at the moment. You can see that the messages have now been delivered. And if I just check from my end, yeah, I can see it from my phone, and also I can read it. Then once I have read it, you can see that it shows that one contact has read, then the other contact is still in the delivered mode. It has not been read. So those are some of the insights you can get from the Outbox. So finally, in a separate video, we are going to talk about replies and how to do back and forth conversations with the people you've sent out the messages to. In case of any question, contact us at info@smsleopard.com, or from smsleopard.com, you can find a link to talk to us using our chat widget, or you can also schedule a demo so that we can take you through the configuration. So for the configuration, ensure that you have the phone number that you intend to use, Then from there, we'll guide you through the whole process of setting up WhatsApp. So for now, the process of configuring is a free setup. So ensure you have that phone number for you to be able to begin sending out the messages as soon as possible.